Good day, folks. I'm your friendly neighborhood Tarmack and getting back to work after the usual Christmas hiatus. As always around this time of year, apologies for the lack of content. I've been hard at work, relaxing, eating junk food, and spending some quality time with family. And apologies for the raspy voice. It turns out I caught whatever plague the family had, and I've had to deliberately dose myself with cold meds to make it through. I've got high hopes for 2017, and this is a good time to tell you about that and detail a few changes coming to the channel this year. For starters, though, I want to go over what is not changing. Feature Creep as a series will continue, with the goal of once a week, but more based on when a good topic comes along that I really care about. The news wrap-up will be back on the usual Sunday release schedule for the previous week's news, and assuming I can get review code for games early enough, I'll be doing launch day reviews of games just like I have been. None of those things is going away. As to what is changing, I need to give a little bit of background. You've probably seen various YouTubers commenting that YouTube isn't exactly a great solution to the full-time career thing lately because the system has started to prioritize long-form daily content releases. And there's less than a 0% chance that I can do 20-plus minute daily videos and still remain even partially knowledgeable about what I'm doing. So this means I need to do a better job of diversifying. That diversification is going to, in theory, come in two main forms. The first is a Twitch piece, and the second is a Patreon piece, though they are certainly connected. And since I hate the idea of gating content, I need to be creative with how I wanted to set this up. Got a good bit of feedback from Discord chat as well. That's why I started this piece by talking about what isn't going to change, because if you've been around the channel before Patreon was a thing, I feel I owe it to everyone to make sure that the level of content remains open and free that was always there since the beginning. So here's the plan. I'm going to start doing a weekly live stream, which of course is open to anyone who wants to wander by the Twitch channel. The best day of the week for me to do it is on Wednesdays, and it will most likely be a 2-hour stream, but that could change. The stream will be a bit of a variety one, with anything from basic gameplay all the way down to showing my workflow and creating videos for YouTube. I've done this before, just not consistently, and I'd like to rectify that. If I'm looking for help picking a game or seeking people to play multiplayer games with, chances are that I'll go to the patrons first, but that's a fairly common way of doing things. I really like the idea of being able to interact with people more often, and I've wanted to do more streaming for a couple of years now. I just needed to actually schedule it in. Now, I mentioned Patreon as the second piece, so let me explain. With 13,000 subscribers on YouTube and regular content, the people who have chosen to back me on Patreon have already eclipsed the monthly ad revenue that comes in from YouTube. There's really no other way to explain it, and I think that Jim Sterling has the right idea, so I'm going to steal something from him. I'm removing monetization from my signature series Feature Creep on the YouTube channel. That series and future work moving myself towards the concept of developer interviews, which is something I still really want to do, is now going to be entirely Patreon funded. And I cannot say enough thanks to the folks who believe that the content I make is worth a few bucks. But I also wanted to put together a few other ways of recognizing the patrons because their contribution is important. It's already resulted in me being able to pick up a Zoom H6 to work on my portable audio recording in advance of those dev interviews that I want to do, so providing recognition is important as well. But also because YouTube has no intention of ever supporting a channel that does the content that I do. So if there's ever going to be a chance of me doing this full time, Patreon or some other site like it will be a big part of that. I've made some additions to the backer rewards over on patreon.com/tarmac in order to try to provide some extra benefits without breaking the bank, so feel free to check that out if you're interested. It's got things like the live stream multiplayer inclusion, giveaways of extra keys that I end up with, Discord exclusive backer chat, live stream VODs, and such. If you're able to and want to support the channel, I certainly appreciate it, but I don't want people to feel obligated or that they're going to lose out if they can't or simply don't like funding project channels like this. I'm still stunned on a daily basis that so many people like the work that I do, and your views and comments mean the world to me. And assuming all of that goes well and as planned, I've also got some other content coming which will be open to everyone as well. The series Let Me Show You was a first impression show where I had a little notepad and I rambled about a game for 20 minutes or so while trying to show people how the game was played. Not particularly well researched, and really, it was kinda shite. So, we're starting it back up under the name Second Impressions, which will be primarily based on games that are good, but you may not have heard of them or seen gameplay of them yet. This time around, I'm going to get into it at least a few hours of gameplay in advance to do a pseudo review. The beauty of this series is that for someone with limited time like I have, I can probably piece together a video in 4 to 5 hours of my time, rather than the 10 plus hours it takes to do a proper review, or longer if the game is enormous. I'm fortunate enough to get review code for quite a few sub-AAA games, indies, lower budget titles, and the like, and I've got about 16 games in Steam right now that fall into this category, and that's just keys that I've redeemed, fully intending to do a review but running out of time. I've got keys I haven't redeemed yet too. They're not all great, amazing titles, but for the most part, they at least warrant a look. So that's something else to look forward to. And finally, I'm starting to hunt around for more collaborative projects this upcoming year as well. I've been chatting with Idiotech about this for a while, so I'm sure there'll be a video collab there at some point. I've always wanted to get on podcasts because they look like they're a lot of fun, but just haven't had the opportunity. So we'll see how that goes. At the end of it all, like I said, if you've enjoyed the content on the channel so far, the only thing that is changing for everyone is that Feature Creep is now not monetized, courtesy of Patreon backers. If you're into live streams, I'll be trying my hand at that on Wednesday nights. If you like finding out about recent games that aren't game media darling titles but still loads of fun, the Second Impression series should be a good one for you. And if you want to help push me in the direction of making game media content my full-time job, you can do that through Patreon. I've done my best to design this in a way that hurts nobody except my free time. 2016 was a shit year for a lot of reasons, but for me, the channel had some pretty great growth. Thank you for sticking with me. I will continue to put out content that is well-researched and in my usual style going forward. Let's see if 2017 can be even better. My name is Tarmack. Thanks for everything.
My revolution